Good evening, welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. Well, much like yesterday, the main story for today is the incredibly warm temperatures that are impacting the Northern Mid-Atlantic this afternoon and into this evening. Temperatures once again pushed into the 70s as a very warm air mass moved from the Gulf Coast up through the East Coast into the Northern Mid-Atlantic. Now, a very powerful area of low pressure is sitting over the western Great Lakes. This low pressure system, down to 957 millibars, is one of the strongest low pressure systems on record in Minneapolis. So you can kind of get an idea of just how powerful this low pressure system is and how much warm air it's able to pull up to the north. Now, the good news is that this warm air is going to remain in place through tomorrow morning. The bad news, the warm air is leaving and much cooler air is on the way. Let's take a look at the latest satellite picture. As you can see with the water vapor, we have a very intense area of low pressure over the western Great Lakes. Notice how tight and intense this low pressure system is. We could tell how intense it is because we have very dry air moving south from Lake Superior down through Lake Michigan and back through the southern plains. The drier the air in these areas tells us how strong the sinking air is. And if the sinking air is very strong, that means the rising air ahead of it is also very strong. So we're dealing with a rather intense area of low pressure. And actually the formation of the cloud pattern is just a classic extratropical low pressure system. Also, we could see that plenty of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico is streaming north into the Northern Mid-Atlantic. So we're dealing with for this time of year, a warm, humid air mass. So what does that mean for severe thunderstorms? Well, let's take a look at the radar picture. So here we have the radar picture, and you can see we have some strong to severe thunderstorms that are moving through the Ohio Valley. These severe thunderstorms, I think, are going to weaken as they approach the Northern Mid-Atlantic, and the reason why is because of the timing. The leading edge of this rainfall is going to reach the Northern Mid-Atlantic, the Philadelphia metropolitan area especially, in the early to mid-morning hours, and that's when the atmosphere is not quite as unstable as it is right now. As a result, the thunderstorms will be strong, a few isolated severe thunderstorms, but nothing like what's happening in the Ohio Valley this afternoon, with tornadoes and some locations having hail, very strong winds, over 60 miles per hour in some cases. In this situation, we'll have some isolated severe thunderstorms. Wind gusts will exceed 40 miles per hour at times, but for the most part, these thunderstorms will produce wind gusts anywhere from 30 to 40 miles per hour. The main threat through tomorrow is going to be the steady heavy rain that's going to impact Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan areas for tomorrow morning's rush hour and tomorrow evening's rush hour. So it's not going to be pretty tomorrow. The reason why this cold front is moving slowly also is because the winds are moving parallel to the surface cold front. As a result, the cold front tends to move slow. The good news, though, is that once this low pressure system exits, well, conditions get a lot better. So our intense area low pressure is going to move up into Ontario. The cold front's going to move through tomorrow. A few lingering showers on Thursday morning, but high pressure that is starting to develop over the Rockies will slowly build into much of the Northern Mid-Atlantic for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, with generally scattered clouds, much cooler temperatures. Instead of the 70s, we're talking about the 50s, possibly even a few upper 40s for highs. And in fact, the low temperatures for this weekend, well, there's a potential for parts of New York City and just northwest of Philadelphia to fall below freezing. So it looks like we're moving into a much colder pattern. And by the way, for those going out for a Halloween on Sunday, be sure to bundle up because it is going to be a very chilly day on Halloween with temperatures struggling to break 50. So we're definitely, like I said, moving into a much cooler pattern. And then we have another area of low pressure that's going to develop over the southern plains and move towards Virginia that will bring the threat of rain and possibly even some snow over the higher interior of northeastern Pennsylvania and parts of the Hudson Valley. We'll have to keep an eye on that for next week. Thank you for using NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino.